Hi, everybody. It's Edie. Why art? Why not? When I look at art, it fills me with such joy. I think of all the materials for each individual artwork needed. I think about how someone comes up with the idea of their composition in a painting or a drawing or sculpturals, clays. Just amazes me at some of the work these people can do with their artwork. Just extraordinary. I I had students that were so good at their artwork, at their techniques and their flow of art. It just came so naturally, and I worked so hard at it. It can be the most exhilarating thing you've ever done, and it can be the most excruciatingly frustrating thing you ever wish upon your worst enemy. It can be a nightmare. And I usually stay right a hair above a nightmare. Um, the reason why I haven't been here for the last couple months is because I have been working on my art studio back in um, look, back in February of 2016. I bought an old farmhouse, and it had a living room, a bedroom, a bathroom, a little hallway, a dining room, a kitchen, a huge room in the back, and then a small room in the back. So there's 8 rooms total, counting the hallway. And then on the back of it, it had a garage. And I paid $1 for this old farmhouse. Um, this farmhouse, I had to move 10 miles from where it stood the second time to my place. And I have all kinds of videos. Oh my gosh. I followed that farmhouse from one end to the other, all 10 miles. I even passed it so I could get a great shot of it coming toward me and going past me and turning into our property. And it was kind of cool. And I flew high on that thing for months. I was so excited. Um, Now, I mentioned that it had a garage. What had happened was when they made the turn off to go off the farm to market road onto our property, they hit the culvert. And when they did, it knocked off half of the garage. So that had to go. And that's all right with me. I mean, the guy was so upset about it. And I said, you know what? It happens. It wasn't meant to be. I'm not going to get upset about something that more than likely I would have never used anyways. So it's not a big loss. Um, I wished I'd have kept the wood from the garage, but nobody thought about it at the time. Um, they just kind of disappeared. But other than that, I mean, it was fine. It's still a huge building. It's 1,300 square feet, and a couple of years ago for Christmas, my husband bought me a generator, a very large generator, and it can run an entire household up to 1,500 square feet. Um, Electricity, I mean, you name it, freezers, electric stoves, microwaves, icebox. I'm dating myself. A refrigerator. I do know that word. Um, and lights throughout the whole system. And it's just an old house. There's nothing fancy about it at all. There's nothing fancy about me either. I'm very laid back in a lot of things that I do. Uh, but I was very excited about getting that there. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I actually found the bill of sale for the house. I have to put my glasses on because I'm blind in one eye and can't see out the other. So I'm going to show you this bill of sale and prove to you that I actually paid $1 for this building. And it tells in the last paragraph what I paid for it. But $1, one whole dollar. I wish that had been the entire cost, but it wasn't, because I also had to pay for the move, which was an additional $7,500. And for the last 3 or 4 years, it just kind of sat vacant, and we used it as a storage facility. And then this year I got a burr underneath my telly and then decided I'm tired of this. I am sick of it. It's my studio. I haven't got to use it, not even one day, as an art studio. So that's where I've been for the last couple of months. I have been working so hard till like from 2:30 in the afternoon till 9 o'clock at night. I get home about 9:30. It's from where I live to the studio is 9.5 miles one way. So I have to drive home at night, and if I'm tired, it can be a long drive. But to get back to the studio, one of the things in order for me to get insurance on that building was to make sure that it didn't have a kitchen, and that anything that resembled a kitchen had to be gone. And so I asked them, my insurance company, I said, well, can I keep the top cabinets? Because I need that storage, for my bleaches and my brush cleaning stuff, my nib cleaners, my clay tools. I need that for those supplies up there. And plus, it's high enough out of the way where I don't have to worry about my grandkids getting into it by accident. Now, I tore out the bottom cabinet, and let me tell you something. If you want to really kill frustration, aggravation, maybe you're in a bad mood, maybe your family's just right there, go tear out a kitchen cabinet, because that was fun. Yeah, I took a 16-pound sledgehammer and I went to town. I beat that cabinet all to pieces. And it was the building. I don't know if I told you this or not, but the building is in 1912. I believe it's either 1912 or 1902. I think it's a 12 though, which would make it the same year my grandmother was born. And the building had originally been out at the Bluff on the other side of Corpus Christi, and the house was sold to be moved, and they moved it from the Bluff to Benquete, Texas, which is about 30 miles, maybe give or take. And then I bought it in 2016, and I moved it an additional 10 miles from Benquete to Blunzer, which is ironic because that's my last name. So we moved it out to our property out there. And every time I think about that day they moved it, that was extraordinary because, I bought that. I did. I paid to have it moved. I did that. Me. And I'd never done anything like that before in my entire life. So for the last couple of months, I finally decided, no more. It's an art studio. That's what it's going to be. That's the whole purpose of me having this building, was so that I could take all of my art supplies and everything that deals with art, and I could go put it in this building, and I could have it the way I wanted it, not by anybody else's so-called norms, but for me, the way I wanted it done. Well, about 2 months ago, I had to do a sleep study in Corpus, and I was looking through Facebook Marketplace, and you know how you just kind of browse through it? Well, that's what I was doing, and this lady had put up a 9-foot long parasailing board for $5. So I, sent her an email right quick. I got it. She said, "Will you be here? Can you be here tomorrow?" And I said, "It's not a problem. I have to be in Corpus tonight, anyways, for a sleep study, so I can just come by in the morning." She said, "Fine." Well, I popped in her address so that I could, go over there and find out, where the property was. Long story short, it took me 2 days to get over there. I had seen her the day before, and then I had to go back the 2 days later so that I could actually go pick up this board. Now, for some reason, I wasn't thinking 9 feet. I was thinking 9, but not 9 feet. I mean, come on, 3 yards? And I drive a small Dodge Journey. It's not a big car. I mean, it's like a station wagon kind of, but it's not a huge car. And I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to? Well, we tried putting it on the inside of the car. That did not work. That was a comedy in itself. And she's this little bitty tiny stick person of a person, human being, and I'm a big old broad, and she's over there just lifting it up like it's no big deal, and I'm over there, because I've never lifted anything like that before, and it was awkward because it was 9 feet long. And so I said, "I'll tell you what, I'll be back tomorrow, and I will pick it up then." And she said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yeah." So I went ahead and paid for it that night, and the next morning I drove back over there. I got there probably about 9, and she was already at work, and her husband was already at work, and I knew where they had put it at. So I went over there and I got it, and the only thing I could think of was to stick it up on top of my car. Now, thank goodness my car has those railings on the top, that you use for stuff like this. So I was able to slide that up there, avoid my antenna, and tie that thing down. And I always carry nylon rope with me. I know it sounds stupid, but you never know what you're going to have to, cart. And I'm always carting something. So I went ahead and tied it up there. And while I was doing that, the next door neighbor came over there, and his name was Mr. Greenberg. And he was just the nicest man. And met his wife, Patricia, and met him. And just the nicest couple you'd ever want to meet in your whole wide life. And he took me over to his house, and they showed me their collectibles. They showed me their plants. They showed me their garden. I mean, it was extraordinary. And I'm over there, "Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Oh my goodness, that's cool. What's that? Well, how do you do that? Well, what is this?" But the main thing that caught my interest was they had a copper cauldron. And it was huge. I'm going to do it this way so you can see my hands. It was probably a good 3 foot across, I guess. And I said, "That's solid copper, right?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "You need to take that down out of your tree and put it in your backyard, or that's going to come up missing. Because copper is at an all-time premium, and you don't want to lose it." And he said, "Okay." So that was one thing that I was able to help them with, telling them what to do with their own property. So anyway, I stayed over with them for, I don't know, maybe an hour. They were really nice people. And I said, "Well, I'm going to have to go. And it was a pleasure meeting you." And I got in my car and tootled along. Now, they were over there by Ocean Drive in Corpus Christi. If you're any kind of familiar with Corpus Christi, Ocean Drive is where the Gulf meets, right? And where the beaches are and all that kind of stuff. And they're about maybe 3 blocks off of that, maybe, give or take. So I had to figure out a way to drive from Ocean Drive, basically, to the barn, which was about 28 miles. And I didn't think with my abilities to tie stuff down that I should be going over 45, 50 miles an hour maybe. And I did real good because I just took all the back streets, in Corpus. I didn't get on the expressway or the freeways or any of that stuff. And I went all the way down Leopard Street, which is 9,000 miles long, and it's the most boring street in the world, and it's got so many potholes in it. But I got down to 5 points, and I went, "Oh, no. I forgot about 624. Speed limit on 624 is 70 miles an hour. And I didn't know if that board was going to stay up there. I got up to 65, and that's where I stayed. And so I drove from 5 Points all the way to the barn, which was 10, 11, about 11 and a half miles, give or take. And I drove and I pulled in, and the first thing out of my mouth was, "Thank you, Lord, thank you so much." My main concern was not so much that it would fall off and break, not even close. My main concern was that it would fall off and it would hit the car behind me and cause them to wreck. That's what scared me. So thank God I got it all the way to the studio, and then I had to carry that thing into the house, and it took me 20 minutes to untie it. I'm a good knot tire apparently. So I had to drive from Corpus to the barn and then take it to the studio and unload that puppy. And I unloaded it by myself. And what I had decided to do with this thing, because like I said, I have a bathroom. Well, it's actually a two-part bathroom. You walk into this little room, and come to find out it's 5 feet wide. And like I said, my board's 9, and the room is 5. And so you walk into this little room, and you take a left, and you take another left, and that's where the commode is and where the shower is. And I don't have a cabinet for my sink in there, so I decided that I was going to use that parasailing board. I was going to cut it down, mount it, and I made the corables. I made 4 of them, and they're about that wide. They're nothing fancy. They're very simplistic, very easy to make. Not a big deal. And so now I'm going to mount that on top of the corables. Well, I've got another piece that's a little over 4 foot tall. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with that yet. I'll figure out something. It's going to be something stupid anyway, so who cares? So yeah, I took all the mechanisms out of it that I didn't need, because I got to fill that up with great stuff so I can sand it down and it'll be even with the board, and then I can drill my hole and put my sink in it and hook it up. And I get the most unusual, out of nowhere, text from a man in California outside of Sacramento. And he says, basically, "You don't know who I am, but Alicia gave me your number, and I hope you don't mind. This is a random text from a stranger. But what are you going to do with the mechanisms that were in the board that you bought from Alicia?" And I said, "Nothing. Not a thing. I don't need them." And he said, "Well, could I buy them off of you?" And I said, "No. Give me your address and I'll send them to you." And he said, "You're going to send them to me, and you're not going to charge me for them." And I said, "You pay for the postage or the shipping, and it's yours. I have no need for them. I got such a good deal on the board itself that I don't feel right charging somebody else and making a profit off of it." So we mailed that off. I still don't know if he got it. That's been 2 weeks ago. I'm hoping that he got it. I don't know if he did. I'm going to text him, I guess, in the next couple of days and find out if he got it or not. I hope he did. So anyway, that's what I intend to do with that. Now the sink that I bought is a oval sink like this, and it's got a hole down the bottom for the drainage, right? And it's got fruits and vegetables in it. And I bought it in Mexico back in the early 90s, and I paid $30 for it because I'm cheap and I don't pay full price for anything if I can get away with it. Hence the $5 paragliding board. The old Mexican man wanted 75, and I said, "No, I can't do 75. And he said, "Oh no, 75 is a good price." And I said, "It may be a good price, but I can't do that. I don't have 75, and I'm just not gonna pay it." So I said, "But thank you for your time. I appreciate it. You do beautiful work, and you're an artist. That's all there is to it." And so I started to walk out, and he said, "Hey, how much you got in your pocket?" And I said, "Right now?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Right now I have $33. He said, "I'll take 30. I don't want to break it." And I said, "Deal." So I bought the beautiful sink that I've had all these years because I knew that one day I was going to have a studio. You remember in my last video I told you never apologize for your supplies? Don't. Don't ever apologize for your supplies. If you're an artist, and it doesn't matter if you are a fine artist, or if you're in music, or if you're a dance, or you're a writer, it doesn't matter. Never, ever, ever apologize for having your supplies that you need in order to create your work. Period. I'm not apologizing. I'm just telling you how cheap I am. So over the last 35, 40 years, every time I would find something that was a really good deal, I would purchase it. And then I would hide it. Well, I didn't hide it. I just put it up out of sight, out of mind, so my husband wouldn't see it, hiding it. So the other day I was showing him what I was going to do in the kitchen. And I got some laminate flooring for free, and that's what I'm laying down right now. And like I said, free or cheap. And while he was there, I went in there, and I had one of these great big laundry tubs, those big sinks. And my husband looked at me. He said, "Where did you get that?" And I said, right after Alamo Lumber opened up, I went in there, and they had this on sale for half price. They weren't going to use this particular brand anymore, so I got it for $20. And he said, "Where did you hide this?" And I said, "Everywhere. Closet, outside, in my old studio, and you name it, I hid it there. I had storage units for years, so a lot of this stuff was in there." And I said, "But I've been slowly in my head forming my studio throughout my life. I don't wish that on anybody, but for me, that's the way it worked out." I got in there 2 months ago, and like I said, this place has been emptied for 4 years at least. Not empty, but it had crap in it. And so I've been in there plugging up holes, laying down floor in the kitchen, or the ex-kitchen, I should say. Vacuuming. Oh my God, vacuuming. The rat poop. Oh, it's not. No. I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but it has to be done. And then I go in there after I get all that done. I sweep out the rest of it. After I get all that done, I go in there and I bleach the floors. And I bleach them to the best of my abilities, which means usually it's half a bottle of bleach to about this much water. But yeah, I make sure I get it clean. And so about 3 nights ago, I was out at the studio, and I needed to lay one more board down, and I would have been completely finished with the kitchen except for underneath the one cabinet door that I did keep. And I looked at that one board, and I went, "No, I'm done. I've been here since 2:30. I'm done." And I left. And normally before I leave, I clean up after myself, but I didn't even do that. I just left. So I had to go back yesterday and go put all my tools up, unplug the generator, and do all that kind of stuff that you have to do, in these circumstances. And so I got it pretty well cleaned up yesterday, and I have been watching to see if there's any new pellets anywhere. And so far I haven't seen any. So that's a great deal. It means I've got that at this point in the rooms that I'm working in now, I have those secure enough where the rats can't get in there anymore, the rats or the mice. And yeah, I have found 3 dead bodies in there. One of them was a fresh kill, and the other 2 were skeletal. And really and truly, I guess I should have kept the skeleton ones, but I didn't want to. I do a lot with skulls and skeletons and stuff like that with critters that I find, but I really didn't want to mess with these rats because I just got to think about it. Dead or alive, I'm not a big fan of rats. And so anyway, I went and cleaned it up. I'm going to go back tomorrow and finish the kitchen completely, and then I'm going to scrub it down completely, and I'm going to start in on the dining room. And I have a large pile, still a pretty good sized pile left of the flooring, and I think it may be enough to do the bathroom and the bathroom where the sink is. And so if it is, I'll be completely happy then. I'll have that part done. Um, I am almost through with the front room. I'm almost finished with the kitchen. I'm almost finished with the bathroom. They don't leave some 5 more rooms. So I'm going to be working on that. At one point, a couple of weeks ago, I thought that I was going to get some free privacy fence boards, a bunch of it, which would have done the walls in the 2 front rooms, the kitchen, and the dining room. And that's how much wood it was. It was over an acre and a half, almost 2 acres of land. No, yeah, almost 2 acres of land, all the way around. And she was replacing the boards, and she said I could have them. And then I heard nothing else. So I'm just assuming, that um, they changed their mind, which that's their prerogative. They're allowed to do that. And no, am I upset? No, um, because it's still their property until they decide what to do with it. I would be absolutely crushed if I found out that they destroyed the wood because I could have used it. I would have paid them for it. But it is what it is. I really do hope that they used it, and I hope that whatever they decided to do with it, I hope it looks fabulous. Um, so I'm gonna have to be on the lookout for some woods that I could put on the walls in the kitchen and the 2 front rooms. What I want to do afterwards, after I get them up, is I want to sand them down lightly, and then I want to whitewash them, Tom Sawyer like, and that'll be the end of that right there. The floor in the front room, there's 2 front rooms. One of them is a living room, and the other one is a bedroom. The living room is where I'm going to have my paints set up, my acrylics, my watercolors, and my oils. So that is strictly what that room is. Oh, before I forget, even though we've had over 100-degree weather down here, that's normal for South Texas. My husband did put a little air conditioner in there, so it does help tremendously. Believe me, it does. Um, so don't think I'm out there just sweltering, because I can't cool off. I have an ice chest out there, and I take ice with me, and I take me some water, and I take me some tea, and little snacks, that kind of stuff, so I can barrel right on through. Um, I don't know what I'm going to do with the dining room yet. I know that I have this big piece of furniture right over here, and it's 5 foot by 5 foot. I've described it to you before. It's 5 foot by 5 foot. Let me turn you a bit, so you can get an idea, and then I'm gonna turn you back. Let's see if we can do this. See that green and white piece right there with the glass in it? Okay, well, that is 5 foot by 5 foot square, and it is holding my art supplies as of right now. Um, but that's not even a fraction of them. I've got tons of art supplies. And when I talk about art supplies, I'm not talking just about paints and pencils and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about tools. I'm talking about everything from a drill to jigsaw to um, a Zaza to a compound miter. I mean, I've got tools, wrenches and pliers and screwdrivers and all the bits and pieces that go with it. So I have quite a bit of tools, and I have several large toolboxes out in the carport that I made that holds those tools for me. They are also going to go out there. I am not a big fan of battery operated tools. Um, about the time I get going and I get this thing understood and I start to go, the battery dies. 4 hours to charge it. And yeah, I have 2 or 3 batteries, but if the thing only lasts for 15 minutes and it takes 4 hours to charge it, that's only 45 minutes for every 12 hours of charging. I don't care for that at all. I want power, and I want it right then, and I want it to be consistent. Hence the generator, and I have a lot of extension cords. So I can go all through that house with that thing, and I'm just thrilled to death. Um, I think that after I finish the kitchen and the dining room, I'm going to take a break from that area and go straight to the front porch and start working on it. A friend of mine was demolishing one of her rooms, and there was a window out there, and it was just a solid piece of glass with a frame around it. And so I stopped and I asked her, I said, "What are you going to do with that glass?" And she said, "Put it in the back of your car." I said, "Well, yeah, but how much do you want for it?" She said, "Edie, you can have it. We're not going to do anything with it." Well, here comes her husband. And so she tells him, and he said, "I have two more you can have." So he goes in there and he brings me two more. They're not the same size, but he brought me two more windows. And I'm going to use them for the front porch. Everything that I have is secondhand. So do I think that's a bad thing? No. Does everything work? Absolutely. Do I know what I'm doing? Probably not. But since I'm not doing any electrical wiring um, to this house, I don't have to have it inspected uh, because it's not going to be used 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It is a studio. It is what it is. I will use it when I'm out there, and I can't say that I'll be out there all the time. It's 9.5 miles, so we're looking at 19 miles round trip. If I go out there, you know, we just will say 20 miles. Um, 7 days a week, you're looking at 140 miles. It's a lot of mileage. So I will do what I can when I can out there. But after I get my art supplies moved out there, oh heck yeah, I'm gonna be out there a lot more. But I won't be using as much physicality as much as I have been in the last couple of months working on the studio. I'm very excited about this chapter in my life. Um, I've told you before that art is anything man-made. You cannot think of one thing a man has made that is not art related. Nothing. Nothing. If I tell you who's got the greatest signature in the world, the first person that comes to mind, John Hancock. He's on the Declaration of Independence. It's about this big on there. Um, Most people don't even know what he did for a living. I think he was an insurance person, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to look it up. But it's just a funny thing, when you start working on these things. And of course, by the time I get in, I want to take a shower, I want to eat, got to clean the kitchen. Um, I just want to go to bed. I'm tired. I'm an old lady, and I'm doing this out there by myself. Um, the other day I was outside and taking a break and watching the sunset. It was so pretty out there. And about that time, all the cows came up around my little studio, and I just stood there and I thought, perfect. It's exactly what I needed to see right at this moment, and it was lovely to see the cows up around the house and everything. Am I a little scared of them? Yes, a tad bit, because some of them ain't so nice. They don't like fat ladies. So that's the way it works. So that's the reason why you haven't seen me much in the last month. And I know I said I would get in here and do this a lot more often than what I have been. But life did get in the way on this one. And you get to a point in your life where you've had it up to here. I'm going to do it by myself if I have to, if it's the last thing I do. And apparently that's what I'm doing. And of course, what else did I decide to do? I decided to go paint the dining room here at this house. Started that this morning, July 4th. Go figure. And I got one wall almost done, and then I still got the rest of them. But it's like my there's so much going on that once I finish one, I start on another one immediately. My biggest fear about the studio um, is not being able to put the back door back on it. A gust of wind hit it and it blew it off its hinges. and and it was just hanging by one hinge. And so I was extremely grateful that the door didn't blow off completely and break. Um, that was a blessing in itself. That's my biggest worry as of right now. I eventually want to get up into the attic of of my little studio, my little farmhouse studio, and I want to get up in there and see what is or is not up there. Um, if I can keep it clean up there and have a little bit of headroom, I can put our Christmas stuff up in there, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. There's one part of the building, and I've always loved these kind of roofs. I don't know if they have them throughout the United States or not, but I've seen several of them down here. It's a pyramid. Just it's a four-sided pyramid. I don't know how to do it with my hands, but it's a four-sided pyramid roof, and the rest of it's got a little bit of an angle, and it's just lovely. It's just lovely. I love it. I love it. When I drive up and I see that roof, I just get all excited. I know it sounds stupid, but I do, because it's so unique to me. I don't see that very often down here. But yeah, that's what I've been doing the last couple of months. Um, I've lost 7 pounds. So I have a neck. See, nice neck. Um, uh, but it's been a lot of work. And when I get those that last board in at the kitchen, yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. I've got more done than I thought I would. It's a lot of work. Do I wish I had more help? Absolutely. My two of my grandsons came and helped me for a couple of days, and it made all the difference in the world. We were able to get a lot done in just a short amount of period of time, and they're gone. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. And so the rest of the work's going to be slow going, because it's just me by myself doing it. My former art student, Evan, offered to come and help me, and I said that's great, and I will take you up on it later on. But right now, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be done before I can have anybody come in there. And he said, that bad? And I said, it's that bad. It really is that bad. And I said, I mean, if you go in there and you paint a wall, we can fix the wall. Because, when you move a building, if you got sheetrock in it, it's going to crack. It's just the way it is. But we were fortunate because none of the windows broke. That was a huge, huge deal. So I've got to get that cleaned up. And I'm just really looking forward to having this done. It's the most amazing adventure I've been on in a long time. Um, it's right up there with living in Italy for 6 weeks. I mean, it's great. Sometimes in life you have to do stuff for yourself. Eh, I've done for everybody else, and done for everybody else, and done for everybody else, and done for everybody else. And it's my turn. For right now, it's my turn. I have a lot of stuff that needs to go over there, especially after I get it cleaned out and um, get finished with all that other stuff that needs to be done, and a little bit of demolition that has to be done. Other than that, I'm doing well. I can, hopefully, I'm thinking that eventually I'll be able to take my computer out there and, TV out there. I'm trying to find a radio of all things, because I don't have anything going on out there. I very rarely use my phone for music, because it really sucks the life out of that battery real quick. And so I need to figure out a way to have music out there playing. It will do a lot for me. It gets me in a goofy mood, and I'm able to do a little bit more. And if you don't think I haven't been working hard, I smashed my finger. Let me show you. See if we can get it to focus. You see that split right down my nail? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to the doctor tomorrow. That hurt. It didn't hurt at the time. It didn't start hurting until yesterday. And yeah, it's been a pain where a pill won't reach. But anyway, I am going to let you go. I will try and get back on here with more updates as I go along with my studio. I am going to frame my bill of sale and hang it in there. I think it's awesome. You know, I mean, how many people can say that? That they bought an art studio for $1, and then $7,500 later. Oh, let me, before I forget, it's not like the $7,500 paid for everything. It paid for the move, but my husband paid for the pylons. He paid for the termite shields. He paid for the generator, the job box. He paid for everything you can imagine that I didn't have the money for. He paid for. So it's not like, oh, you know, her husband doesn't help her. My husband's awesome, and I wished everybody had a Carl, you know, because everybody needs Carl. And yeah, he helped me out tremendously. This video is already 41 minutes long, and I am going to let you go. And hopefully I will be back with an update. And if I can figure out how to upload pictures at the same time that I'm recording, I will show you pictures of my studio as I go along. Hey, God bless. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and ring that little bell if you like the content. If you have any questions you want to ask me, please feel free to ask, because there's so much going on in life, and if you don't ask, you never learn. You know, that's just the way it is. Be good. God bless. See you later. Bye.